Hey everybody, time for another Cooking with Cory video. The reason I did 2 in one day today is because, like I said before I went to work, I was going to end up making cornbread to eat with my bean soup. So if we want to check the bean soup right here, my ham hocks and beans, that is the bean soup right there, and it's looking mighty yummy. It's boiled pretty much all day. Smells delicious in here. I'm kind of slobbering a little bit, so that's really good. And so I got a small pan. Gonna ooze it up with some cooking spray. Okay, cooking spray. Oh, somebody logged on. It's either Chad or Dave, I'm assuming, since they're the only two that really watch. So let's see, I need 2 bowls, one for the dry stuff and one for the wet stuff. This one will be for the dry. And this one will be for the wet stuff. Alright. Now, sometimes cornbread can be really wet or really dry. Wow, 3 people. That's cool. It depends on, like, if you use that stuff that comes out of a box, sometimes it can, because it's more made like a cake, you have to really watch how you put the ingredients in. You got to cook at the right temperature. I use just plain old cornmeal with the Quaker guy on there, whatever. That's what I like to use. You can use whatever you want, doesn't matter. But anyway, so if you're gonna make a cornbread, oh, I had 3, I'm down to 2. Somebody must have been not interested. Let's see. So it's a 1/4 cup and 3/4 of a cup of this. Yeah, 3/4 of a cup. My little 1/4 cupper. There's. All right. So this is where we're gonna come into the interesting Cooking with Cory stuff when you don't have enough stuff to make what you're supposed to be making. So like, there's 1/4 of a cup and man, not quite a half. So doing math in our head, so I only had a cup. So that means I need to reduce everything and make 3/4 of a recipe. Otherwise, my stuff will be too floury and cakey, and it's gonna come out slimy and gooey, and we don't like slimy and gooey cornbread. Anyway, so 1 cup. So I would just do 1 cup of the flour. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. So it's like maybe more like a third of a thing. Somebody else dropped off. It's either crappy internet service on the East Coast, or people are like, nah, I don't want to sit and look at the side of your head while you make cornbread. Alright, we got Mr. Whisk here. Somebody's hanging in there. I bet it's Dave. I bet it is. Alrighty. So, if you watched the Cooking with Cory live episode where we were at the cabin in the lake, you would know the people I'm talking about, what their faces look like, because they were all in the video. Except maybe Chad. I think we only got Chad's back side because he didn't want to be on TV, so whatever. Anyway, so let's see, I remember we're doing like I don't know, 1/4, 2/3, sounds good to me. Sugar. So normally it says 1/4 cup of sugar, but since we're doing the reduced recipe because I don't quite have enough stuff, we'll pretend like that's not quite a 1/4 of a cup, and it's whatever 1/3 of a 1/4 is. Not sure. Okay, it's all good. Anyway. Still hanging with me, huh? Good job. Anyway, so now taking the dry crap and we're gonna mix it around. Baking powder. One of the things that people don't understand is baking powder expires. So where's my baking powder? So Ghetto West baking powder that I got from the 99-cent store. It still works just as good as baking powder that you get anywhere else. It says shake the can. You do want to fluff it once in a while. because it'll get cakey and you'll have the bottom stuff will be just like big chunky rocks in the bottom, and that's no good. That is no bueno. I believe it calls for 2 teaspoons of this. Yeah, 2 teaspoons. But we're not going to do 2 teaspoons because we're doing the reduced recipe because I didn't have enough stuff. So what the hell is on there? Well, good thing we're not using that one for anything because I don't really know what's on my measuring device. Yuck. That was kind of gross. I don't put things away dirty usually, so that's kind of weird. Anyway, alright, so 2 teaspoons. 1 teaspoon. And not quite another teaspoon. There we go. And like I was saying with baking powder also, besides it expires and goes bad, you don't want to use the old stuff because it just won't rise. It's leavening stuff. And baking powder is actually made of cream of tartar. And baking soda. It's up here somewhere. It's in here. Baking soda, which also goes bad, by the way. Like if you've had the same box of baking soda in your cabinet, like there's a reason you're supposed to write a date in here, which I have not. This is pretty new though, because it goes bad. Anyway, so if you're in a pinch and you don't have baking powder, you can make your own baking powder with it's a 2-to-1 ratio or something like that of cream of tartar. So it's more cream of tartar than it is the baking soda. But anyway, so you mix that up and get all the dry stuff in there. So now I've done that and I made it in cornbread and it makes cornbread fine. So you're good. Don't worry about it. It's all good. And I think the last thing that would be in here is salt. It says 1/2 teaspoon. I'm just gonna chunk some in there because it doesn't really matter if it's that big or not. But anyway, so like I said, we're doing the reduced recipe. So now I gotta remember that all of the stuff I reduced on the dry side, I gotta reduce on the wet side, because if I don't do that, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really bad. So normally this thing calls for egg whites, right? You want 2 egg whites. I'm too lazy. I don't like to separate the eggs. So I'm just going to use 1 whole egg with the yolk and call that good because it'll be enough liquid. Let's see. How are my eggs looking? Sell by 11/4. I don't know what day it is, but I don't think it's what is today? Sell by 11/4. It's 11/18. And it's still a good egg. You don't have to worry about your eggs like that much. Nope, somebody else logged in. You don't have to worry about your eggs so much going bad if it's on the sell by. It's the if it's expired, then that's bad. So like it's still good for like 30 days past the sell by date because they're trying to sell it to you and they know you're not gonna go home and just eat them all that day. So you're good. Don't worry about it. So the expiration dates are their suggestion. It's something because the government's got to tell you how long you can keep stuff for. It calls for skim milk because I'm lazy and cheap and was on vacation last week and I haven't gone to the store yet. I'm going to use evaporated milk. Now, what the good thing to remember is all evaporated milk is milk that has been evaporated. They take the water out of it, so it's condensed milk pretty much. But not condensed milk, because condensed milk is its own thing that is really thick and usually sweetened and made to make like fudge and candy and stuff. Evaporated milk can be used for that, but also if you're like a survival dude or you like to go camping or whatever and you want to have some milk, this stuff holds up really good in your pack. It's tiny, it's small, and it's a 2-to-1 to the water ratio if you want to make milk for like your cereal and your granola and all your hippy dippy stuff that you have in the woods with you, or if you just like milk and you want to pound milk while you're out in the woods. I would not suggest taking it on a desert hike, because although it's in the can, it'll be good. As soon as you open it, you got to use it all. So either everybody at that campfire better like milk, or you're going to be not having a good day. Because milk does not save well once it is open. But anyway, so what I'm going to do, because this milk is my little happy evaporated milk here. Oh, the oven has preheated. I'm going to use my old handy dandy can opener. And and I believe it's a cup of milk that it says. Yeah, 1 cup of milk, but reduced rates, so we don't want a whole cup. We're going to take 2/3 of a cup of milk. And it's okay if it's kind of yellow because it's condensed, right? So it's not gonna look like milk. It's gonna look like condensed milk. It's gonna be a little different, you know, it's okay. You know, if your little snowflakes don't like the milk because it's a different color, too bad. Anyway, so now I'm gonna whip up the wet ingredients. Oh, and I believe this one calls for oil. Yes, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. So, since I don't feel like doing the math, I know I'm doing about a 2/3 recipe, so I'm going to fill this 1/4 cup up about 2/3 of the way with oil. Call that good. And that'll make up for the not accurate way of having an egg in there, all the right amount of egg in the other liquids. Dude, you guys are logging on and off like 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1. Like either you guys have really crappy internet connection where you're at, or I am really just boring the hell out of everybody except one person is sticking with me. And I think that's Chad, because Chad says he likes to watch all the way and will stop what he's doing to watch Cooking with Cory. Now, something else that I like to do. If you have cornbread and you are one of them dudes who's like, kick it up a notch, I want to eat that stuff hot. So what I do first, a little bit of vanilla, because vanilla's good and everything. And people will wonder why your cornbread tastes better than everybody else's, because you put something else in there. All right, just a spot, just a little bit. Just put a little tiny bit in there. And you will whack this up. For those of you that watched the deer one, I'm sorry if that was kind of graphic yesterday when I got my first deer and I videotaped going up to it and it was still alive, and then I kind of had to log off. Anyway, so I'm sorry if you guys were offended or grossed out by that. Don't watch that one if you're going to be emotionally destroyed by seeing something like that. If you're that special kind of snowflake that doesn't think that animals are here for you to eat, then don't watch that video, because I'm going to eat that deer. I'm getting him chopped up into little pieces, and he is going to be in my mouth, in my belly, when the butcher's done with him. Alright, so I got the liquids. I'm going to throw the liquids into the dry. It says to like make a well and all that. You don't have to do that. I mean, I don't know. You don't have to make a well. I just stick it in there. It's all good. It's like pancake batter, so it can be lumpy. You're not trying to just whoop the ever-living snot out of this, because you don't need it to be that thin. You can, but it's not necessary. So stirring it around. See, now, throwing stuff everywhere. Kind of drawback to wearing black is that if you get flour all over you, because I'm not wearing my apron, it kind of sticks to you. Okay, so now this is nice and thick, like cake batter. Like I said, it's okay to have a lump or two, so it's all good. Now, what I'm going to do is, okay, so if you've ever been to California and you've been out there and you've had the Robertos or Robertitos or Angelos or any of the O's out there, my Hispanic brothers, hey, this is some good stuff. So what it is, this is like the carrot jalapeno onion mix that you can get at any reputable good Mexican food place in California. Anyway, so a friend of mine gave me these jalapenos, and they're good. So I'm going to take some of these bad boys, and I'm just going to drop them right in there. Now, what I did is I brined them up with some pickle juice. Oh man, I'm slobbering everywhere. So what you do is, usually, unless you're like strange like Rachel and you just drink the pickle juice out of the jar, some people have leftover pickle juice and they don't know what to do with it. Like, I got all this pickle juice, so I'm just going to dump it out. Or drink it if that so helps is your thing. But anyway, it is actually good for you if you drink it. But what you can do is you can take some of that pickle juice and you can practice pickling weird things in your house, because they taste really good. So, like, this is carrots, celery, onions, and jalapenos. And I like it. It's good, it's tasty, it's hot. You can take your own cucumbers after the pickles are all gone. You can throw cucumbers in there make your own pickles. You can throw carrots in there, like just pickle carrots, pickle beans. Like my friend's mom used to make dill beans. You can pickle pretty much anything you want to put in there. You can pickle it. But this is pickled jalapenos. And I only put a couple in there because these are freaking hot, because the girl at work that gave them to me likes to see how hot she can make things. Like ghost pepper hot and some other weird habanero-y weird crazy pepper she was talking about that she grows that's just abnormally hot. If it makes you feel ill when you eat it, I don't want to eat that, man. I'm not feeling that. Well, yeah, I will be feeling, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to eat that. Anyway, so the size of your pan is usually pretty important. And I did not realize that I didn't have enough stuff to make this before I started. So I'm still using the same size of pan that I would have used for a full loaf of this. I probably should have used a smaller pan, because this is just going to make like cornbread toast, I guess. But I'm going to try and scrape as much out of the bowl as I humanly possibly can. There we go. And alright, so, and this is a lubed up pan, and it didn't put very much in there. I'm hoping it's gonna rise a little bit. Maybe you can see the little jalapenos in there. It probably won't, because it's so spread out. It's gonna end up coming out like a wafer. 20-25 minutes, and I will have some cornbread. Come on, be even there, even. Damn, cat, what are you trying to do? Don't be getting in the oven now. That's hot. All right, so we're going to say 25 minutes. 20. We'll start with 20. Usually when you're baking, you want to go for whatever the lowest number is on there when they suggest something, and then buff it up later. You can always add more time. You can't take it back. Bad things happen when you leave it in too long. So anyway, that's that part. So in about 25 minutes, I'm gonna have, ooh, that's strong. That's milk right there. So the good thing is, since Rachel's not gonna be here tonight, and I'm not gonna be around Rachel, then I'm not gonna worry about the fact that this bean soup is gonna make me fart a lot. And you guys have a good evening. And that was, if you watched this morning's video, it was bean soup, and this evening's video is cornbread. And if you mix the two together, they come out very tasty and good.